Chubstep.
Jrad.
Creating the oil of judgment.
Steed. Chubstep.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the king of the jungle.
He had heard the sound of thy holy trumpet, and took not warning. He had clearly wandered too far from the word of God. And Cornelius, Bernard Hatcher, your hour has come. Let's get it on, big boy. It's time to get back on the path.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
And the show started.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I know you guys missed us. We missed you. Now, relax those ears, close your eyes, get ready.
Especially for driving. Like we say, if you're driving, this is a perfect time to relax. Close those eyes, take the hands off the wheel.
Put your head on the window. Just let the road lull you down. Uh-oh, is that corn coming at me head on? I always
and
imagine
now
if you,
awake. And now
if
awake.
you fall, if you fall asleep in a car, I just imagine you always drive into corn.
That's best case scenario, I think.
Yeah, true.
Depends on like maybe our Nebraska, Kansas listeners, Iowa listeners. You know, this is
or us if we just drove out west a little bit.
Yeah.
America's corn. That's all we have. In between the cities, it's just corn.
You know what? People bash on those central states a lot because all it is corn. But like, hey, try falling asleep at the wheel in New York City.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to crash into a building.
Yep. A building, a couple guys. I mean, you take out a homeless guy or two. Good on you. He'll probably get a medal. But, I mean, they protest a lot down there, too. So you don't want to be one of those guys that rams into the protesters.
Exactly.
I watched the trial of the guy that in Wisconsin that drove through the parade and represented himself. I don't know if you remember the clips of that.
Yeah, it turns out he was a bad guy.
He was a bad guy and a bad lawyer.
Yeah, there's a reason they don't recommend you.
It's tough after murdering a bunch of people to be a worse lawyer than you are a person.
A person, yeah.
But he did it.
It's an impressive trait. Yeah. So like I said, I know that guy didn't fall asleep at the wheel, but to Steve's point, you know, go ahead and give a little shout out to the central states. If you fall asleep at the wheel, just ride through that corn, baby.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? If you guys didn't have the corn, you'd die.
Who would die?
Everyone. Everyone on Earth would die.
Corn.
They need the corn.
Tortillas.
Corn tortillas.
Corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob. I think flour is made from corn. Can't confirm it.
Wheat. That's wheat.
Okay. Well, I've never seen a wheat field. I've only seen cornfield. So wheat must be easier to harvest.
There you go.
Because there's only a couple wheat fields. Or maybe it's in the South. I don't know.
This is good. Good debate. But
the people need to know.
People need to know you need corn. Ethanol.
Ethanol is a big
15%
one.
ethanol.
Why do we make so much gosh darn corn? This is what I want to know. Where's all the wheat?
Animal feed. A lot of it's animal feed.
Oh, that makes
most
sense.
of what you see when you drive through it is
it's the feed corn. Yeah, true. But I thought they could use that corn for, cornmeal, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. No, I don't think so. I think maybe. I know.
Yeah,
you know what? I have a big portion of my mom's side of the family was corn farmers. Do you think I would know more about?
I did figure you would. Fun cornmeal story. I tried to make.
Good.
I had like no food in my apartment, so I'm like, all right, I got fucking cornmeal. What can I make with cornmeal? And I found a recipe for don't cancel me here. This is what I found. Cornbread.
Okay. That was the recipe online?
That was the recipe. You boil some water, put it boil in water and cornbread, then fry it up. Or I was making it and I was like, man, how old is this cornbread? Does cornmeal expire or whatever? So I'm frying this stuff up, I'm reading up on it and it's like, don't eat it. You're gonna get sick.
Oh no.
Which is horseradish.
Yeah.
But it smelled really good. My cornbread did smell a little funky, or my cornmeal. But
Okay.
once I like got it frying, I was like so excited to eat it, and then I was like, damn it, I can't eat this. So I'm gonna make it again. I'm gonna make their cornbread.
Okay. Yeah.
Looked awesome. So if you're out there, you need the corn. You got a bunch of cornmeal. The ingredients are like water and cornmeal and oil.
And you got cornbread.
You got cornbread. I thought it was a much harder experience than that.
Who would have known? Who would ever have known, Steed?
Bird up.
Two things here. I got two things today. I got one thing about babies and one thing about the Chubistory.
Okay. Let's
I'll
baby.
start the baby thing. Here's what I was gonna say. I always like, well, I don't always like this. This is what happens a lot. There is there's like some old picture of somebody dressed up as in a basketball jersey when they're like a baby. And then when that guy's playing in the NBA, they're like, oh, look, he was wearing a jersey when he was a baby. They knew he was going to be a basketball player.
Oh, yeah.
Or there's like, oh, here's like, there's somebody at a cooking show, right? Oh, here's him,
He's got a spoon.
He's got a spoon and he's got a chef's hat when he's 6 months old. He wanted to be a chef his whole life. Things like that. So this happened when we flew back flew to New Mexico. We dressed up my son in a airplane in a pilot's outfit.
Okay.
And I was thinking,
even though his personal rival is a pilot.
Yes, is a pilot, exactly. But what I realized is that if you ever became a pilot, you would automatically go back to like show this picture, like, oh, look, you dressed up as a pilot when you were this old. You always wanted to be a pilot. So I think the key is to just get your kid when they're a baby in every single type of outfit that's an option. And that way, when they're older, whatever profession they pick, you have this picture of them as that thing. And you can say, oh, look, you always wanted to be that when you're older.
Yeah, that makes sense. I always wondered why there was just a bunch of pictures of me like covered in shit. And I guess my parents knew I was just going to grow up to be a piece of shit.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah. I wondered what those pictures were about.
That would make sense. That would make sense.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, though. I think it's cute when, they were doing that their whole life, but I'm not going through the motions of getting a sports jersey in every jersey or every size baby, getting like 40 sports jerseys. I don't know, because then I want him in a Bills jersey. I want him in a Bears jersey. I need him on all the teams so that the teams will draft him later.
You can do it over a span of like 5 years, all those pictures, but it happens quite a bit in like the Olympics, like something pop up, right? The kid had a little bow and arrow or something, and they'd be like, "Oh, he's in the archery now. Look at this. He was able to bow and arrow. He was 2 years old." Like you can do it up to 5. So you just slowly every couple months you introduce a new thing and take a picture of them in it. So that way, when they're ever on TV later, you have this picture to reference. Now, nobody's ever going back and saying, "What were the other things this kid was dressing up as?" Right?
Yeah.
Nobody's ever fact checking that, and that's what the media is not telling you. That's the media is not telling you.
They're not. My kid you'll see a lot of pictures of him punting a football.
Yes.
Because that's what he's going to be. I don't give a shit what he says. He's going to punt a goddamn football before he can walk.
Steve, did you see the Bears punter is an Australian guy that like just...
Oh, they got one of those guys.
It's the Iowa guy. The guy from University of Iowa. So this is a good story. So okay, University of Iowa football team, brutal team to watch. There's like super boring, but everybody was talking about how their kicker was like their best player on their team, their punter. Yeah. And the Bears end up drafting him. Like usually a lot of punters don't get drafted. They just get picked up in free agency. So he was an Australian guy, like was doing, construction. He didn't like what he was doing. I know I might be messing up the story tiny bit, but this is the general concept. He didn't like what he was doing, found some class or like
thing that he could take class?
to learn learn American punting, football punting in Australia. He does this, realizes he's really good at it, goes to University of Iowa, is like the best player on their team as the punter, gets drafted by the Bears, and now he's the Bears punter. So Steve, yeah, it's possible. That's you're really focused on it. You got to have a natural ability. But
I think it's mostly genetics, or else nobody would do it.
For sure.
Or everybody
for sure.
would do it.
Everybody would do it. Yeah. No, it is. But yeah, there's obviously some skill involved in different things. But yeah, you should get your kid punting no matter what.
You'll be punting.
Yeah.
Stretch those legs out.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, what's something you want to get
to? Okay. I got a couple things on the docket here. I got monkey abuse, climate change. We'll go to Tanzania first.
The infection causes immediate respiratory failure, and scientists claim that mutations are now transmitted between humans.
You know what Fugazi is? Fugazi, it's a fake. Yeah, Fugazi, Fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust.
What are you, from Tanzania?
Yes, I am.
Oh, nice. It's been a while. Yeah.
Big problems in Tanzania. Big problems. Yeah, it is weird. So, I mean, big problem. A bunch of people in the opposition got arrested because they were protesting, like 500 or something. Whatever. Same old, same old. Good Tanzania. Just quick riff. They are going to become the largest graphite guys in the world. So big graphite money coming in.
Wow.
That's huge.
Big for pencils.
Yep. And then my favorite thing, the opposition, who's,
so this is the opposition to the current political party, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're calling for, which seems pretty reasonable. They want judicial inquiry to address the escalating cases of missing persons across the country.
Okay. Yeah, that seems.
And yeah, you'd think hey, this is political. They're just kidnapping our rivals because they do that. They do that in broad daylight. These are different, and they're in my favorite thing, and it goes back to witchcraft like normal.
Oh no, not a witchcraft again.
Yep. So somebody showed up. They got found in a ditch without a penis.
Oh no.
Yeah. 2 guys got arrested, and the local witch, local witch also got arrested. The witch doctor told these 2 guys that they would become wealthy. All they had to do was obtain some human genitalia.
Oh.
So
there's good money in that?
I think it's more of like a charm thing.
Okay.
They weren't going to sell it.
They're not selling these genitalia. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So they did that. And then they were coming home from a football match, a soccer match, and they found the guy, and this is what they say. They convinced him to go for alcohol consumption. Not even a good offer.
Yeah. Would you like to consume alcohol with me, friend?
Yeah, not even going to crush some beers, not going to
not
party.
Beer. Yeah.
We're going for alcohol consumption.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they killed him, tore off his private parts. They didn't, cut him off. They tore him off.
Oh God.
And then they put him in a little ditch. Another case, they got just chopped up into a bunch of pieces. 4 bags of pieces, all the main parts of the body separated.
Yeah.
A lot of work went into that one.
I've seen Dexter, I know.
Yeah, another one, same thing. So this would seem like a double one. There was no Oh, actually, no, he did confess. Oh, he killed his girlfriend too, so that makes it even better. Okay. Yeah, he just chopped her up into a bunch of pieces. Somebody else did the same exact thing. So this could have been the same witch. Doing that. And it's just I guess it's on the rise again. This is all in the last few months.
So why is that political party the specific ones that are like, hey, check out the witches? They're capturing and killing people again.
Probably because the guys in charge just don't care.
like nothing's being done about it. So they're like, hey, how about
please?
Instead of rounding up the suspected witches that are doing this, how about just anybody that considers themselves a witch? Just go ahead and lock them up now. Is there any? Let me ask this question. I guess maybe you probably don't know the answer, but is there any positive work being done from the people that consider themselves witches in Tanzania? All I ever keep hearing about is like people get shrunken heads and
Yeah, a lot
albino
of
killings and
eating the albino body
mutilation
parts.
and stuff. What is the good stuff coming out? Is there any good discoveries coming out of the witch world in Tanzania?
You know, they could have been responsible for the graphite thing.
Okay. That wasn't clear in the article.
Yeah, they didn't really attribute that to anyone in
I know they had a
particular.
big cashew business too for a while.
They're the number one cashew exporters in the world and exclusively selling to the United States, if you remember.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
So
which is huge.
Witches could be involved in that. You're right.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're doing that and they're working with the main party or like, they're telling them, but there's a lot of witch drama going on, and it's about time we put a stop to it.
Yeah, no kidding.
So the only way to combat a witch is get some witch hunters.
Oh.
Yep. We got to get some guys with some crossbows, because that's the only way to hunt a witch. They got the crossbows dipped in holy water. They got cool hats, dusters.
Yes.
I'm thinking Van Helsing look, long hair. Viggo Mortensen is gonna have to get down there, and we just let him go nuts for a few weeks.
Steed, this is like our perfect like History Channel reality TV show.
Witch hunter.
Witch hunters.
We'd die though. They would.
Now,
kill
here's
us.
the thing. No, I was gonna say I actually can't go down there, but I'm gonna
You're
produce it
sending
from
me?
afar. No, we gotta have boots on the ground. We gotta have boots on the ground.
God. I would go into like one witch hut and get a curse placed on me, and guess what? The curse is just Ebola.
Yeah,
I've got Ebola.
Yeah, there's some new disease I saw in Congo. You're gonna get that, but we don't have to actually do the work. We get the people that are like, who are the guy? I'm sure there's some guy in Louisiana that consider himself the number one witch hunter in the U.S. and wanted to get their group of like, like Mystery Men, the movie Mystery Men came out in the 90s. These people that are like that think they're like superheroes, and it turns out they like are kind of shitty and everything.
Yeah.
So like we need that group, because the more ridiculous, the better TV it is. And then
That's a good point.
I mean, we're just going to get really good liability insurance. Because these guys are going to die probably.
They're gonna die.
Yeah, because
one way or the other.
They're going to be in Africa, and the Tanzania government is not supporting the stopping of these witches.
Of the
and
witches.
The witch people are probably scary to begin with.
And they're probably just going to tell other people, you got to go kill those people. Because if they're telling people to just get some genitals, they're going to have no problem, killing old Herb, who speaks with a Cajun accent. They're going to take him out like the garbage can on garbage day.
But I still think we could pitch it.
We could pitch it. We could pitch it.
I mean, we don't have to, as long as we don't get the full liability. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm not signing on for that one. I'll sign on as a writer or something. But
that's fair.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Cool, Steve. I am going to do a Chubistory here.
Okay.
Blood alone moves the wheels of history.
Have you ever asked yourselves in an hour of meditation, which everyone finds during the day, how long we have been striving for greatness?
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
America is the richest, most powerful nation on earth. If America was a woman, America would be a big titty woman. And everybody loves a big titty woman.
In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world. And you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chubistory.
Please clap.
Okay. I'm fairly certain you've never heard of this person.
I bet I have.
Okay. Her name is Eliza Roseanne Gilbert. That is her name, her birth name. But people more famously know her as Lola Montez.
Lola Montez.
Because you're Googling this as I'm telling you this.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to show you, Steve, show you one picture of what she looks like now. I'm pretty sure somebody like AI'd this or something, because all the other pictures of her, she's not this good looking.
Wow.
Now here you're like, yeah, that's pretty attractive. Then you see these other ones and you're like, I think that's probably more realistic.
Well, I mean, let's go
bad.
let's go with the first one, because
okay, let's just assume. I think
about it
for the purpose of the story of what I'm going to get to, just assume this picture. People check it out on YouTube. Assume this picture is what she looks like now.
In 1821, like, you gotta shift the scale, because in 1821 you don't got Sephora, nobody takes baths.
Yeah.
So if she was looking like those other pictures, I mean, it looks crazy.
This is an insane looking picture.
Hey,
I'll describe what she looks like. She's got kind of dark brown hair, curly, kind of
get a little overbite.
Yes. Oh, you're right. I'm seeing slight overbite.
Curly hair.
Yeah. Kind of
She's
plain
cute.
features.
She's
Nothing. Yeah, cute. Not
1821. She's at 12. She's
Yeah.
out of control.
Yeah, exactly. But not you want to go and say she's like super hot, but she's cute. We'll say she's cute. All right. Anyway, we'll get to the story here. Born in 1821 in Ireland. Her family at the time lived in a castle.
Wow.
So pretty wealthy at the time.
That's the goal.
They go from this place in Ireland. They move to England and then to India, which obviously they probably didn't have as nice a place in either of those spots. I would have stayed in Ireland. But they moved to India. Her father dies. Her mother remarries. She ends up getting sent to boarding school in England.
Tough break.
Tough break. Yeah. So at 16, I'm assuming she's gone from the boarding school at this point. She marries a guy named Lieutenant Thomas James. I will double salute him.
Yep.
They were married for 5 years before she split, before they got divorced. Yeah, they split, actually. I should say that. They split.
Okay.
So at this point, this is when she takes on the Lola Montez name. She becomes kind of a erotic dancer.
Oh.
Exotic erotic dancer. Now, they don't get into the details until a little bit later. I'll get into that. So she goes Lola Montez because it sounds Spanish. It seems more exotic.
Yeah.
But she's doing this in London, and like people like know her. She's like, "Oh yeah, you're like Mrs. James, right?"
Yeah.
And she's
small
like,
town London.
Yeah, small town London. Well, apparently enough people. She'd gotten around enough that people knew her. So she has to move to Paris and then Warsaw, stuff like that.
Okay.
In these kind of different places, she starts dancing more, and at this point, she becomes known as a courtesan, I think, which is AKA a sex worker, AKA a prostitute.
But high class.
But it's a fancier name for it. Yeah, it is high class.
High class.
It's a fancy name for it. So I'll go through a couple different lists of guys that she's associated with. And again, she's dancing this whole time while she's doing that. One guy is named Franz Liszt. He's a composer. I would think of him like at the time that's a big deal. Now you'd be like, whatever. But at the time, let's a music producer now, right?
Adam Levine. He's Adam Levine.
I mean, I consider Adam Levine more of a sure, we go Adam Levine. He's more of a performer, but this guy was but people know the composers more. Big producer guy, right? Okay, then she has a connection with Alexander Dumas. He's a novelist and a playwright. So basically, somebody who writes
George R. R. Martin.
George R. R. Martin, a hot George R. R. Martin.
Yeah.
But except for I looked up this guy, he's actually not very hot. So and then she is sleeping with a guy named Alexander Duras. I don't know. Alexandra Duras. Anyway, he has the most published newspaper in France.
George Soros.
And so basically she uses this to have him like print articles and boost her dancing career.
Okay.
So
smart.
she's dating this guy. He brings her to a party. This guy gets drunk at the party. He doesn't like the way she's behaving. He starts drinking. He gets drunk. There's another guy there. He challenges that guy to a duel. Because the guy's like, dude, what are you doing at this party? You're drunk. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna duel you, brother.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's how he talked. As his friend, do you, brother? Something like
let's
that.
Let's do
this.
Yes.
And then anyway, he ends up losing the duel. He dies.
Okay.
So she's dated. Yeah, she brings bad party date. Her date dies to the party.
Yeah. Whoops.
Doesn't help her dancing career. So she ends up moving to 1846. She moves to Bavaria. This is her most controversial relationship, she ends up becoming the mistress of King Ludwig the First of Bavaria.
Oh.
So apparently, this is rumored. The first time they meet, he asks if her boobs are real, which I didn't even know fake boobs were a thing. My
They
guess
can do
is that
boob
there
jobs
was
back
some.
in the day.
I don't know, and this is why this is hearsay.
I'm
Who
on it.
knows? Okay, thank you. You do this while I'll tell this part of the
Yeah.
story. So he has her boobs real. Apparently, she just pulls them out in public and is like, apparently that's the way to tell they're real. I don't know. But so the king
I'm
apparently
hooked.
likes this. The king apparently likes this, becomes official mistress. She is in his ear so much that she gets two official titles, the Countess of Landseld and the Baroness of Rosenthal.
Mm.
And she also gets like an annuity. So she's
Wow.
getting paid to be these two core things just by sleeping with the king, who keep in mind is married.
That's crazy that you can get that much just for being a mistress.
Yeah. When it actually wasn't super uncommon back in the day for a king to have like some sort of
Well, yeah, but
countess
like
bullshit thing.
I didn't know you gave them all that
Yeah,
stuff.
you give them. Yeah, sometimes they would get a little like land and a
You
thing.
get a lot
and,
of
like,
perks.
Yeah, you get a lot of perks. So you see why she
Yeah.
did this anyway.
Boob jobs were invented in 1960s. So
Okay,
I don't know
so
what they were talking about.
maybe it was like was it the corset that was like making it
Yeah,
look bigger? I don't know.
I don't know. Whip them out, ladies.
Whip them out. Yeah, or maybe
Because I'm
it's
going to
just
start
stuff,
asking
who knows?
that in public.
If you're a king, apparently you can do it if you're a king. The was not as much
that's a good
sexual
point.
harassment back then. She had so much power over the king that there was one point where a minister, so one of the members of his court, objected to her getting the title, and she was able just to get the guy fired. So there was a bunch of revolutions going on in 1848 throughout Europe. There were students at Munich University, like half of them were like on one side of the revolution, half on the other side. She didn't like that. They weren't like just fully supportive of whatever view she had. She was
Yeah.
able to get the king to close the university.
Yeah.
Eventually
That's nice.
reopened. It eventually reopened because they were like, this is ridiculous. This is Munich University, I think is what it was. Yeah, Munich University. And it reopens. And at this point, he is so hated by the the people around him since he started dating her that he is forced out and his son takes over as king.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she leaves Bavaria. At this point, she doesn't like the king is the only person like keeping her around. She's kind of she has to leave Bavaria. She moves to Switzerland. And she waits for the king a little bit. He doesn't show up. She marries a guy named George Trafford Hale. He is also in the army. He has a large inheritance, apparently, that he's owed.
Nice.
But she never was officially divorced from her first guy, which is why I said separated,
Oh.
corrected myself earlier. So they actually had to flee the country to avoid like bigamy charges and things like to avoid like being prosecuted.
Yeah.
And so they only and so she knew she wasn't able to get the inheritance if she's not married.
Mm-hmm.
They have a bad relationship to begin with. She's obviously a little bit. She's a sex worker. I mean, she doesn't.
Whoa,
like
she
she's the most stable
used to
person.
be. She used to be.
It never really says when that ends. They married. They basically are together 2 years. They break up. She moves to the U.S. This guy dies a few years later from weirdly dies like kind of young a few years later.
He was lame.
Okay, so she moves to San Francisco at this point.
Okay.
She marries a guy. This time she marries a guy named Patrick Hull. I think there was enough separation in the U.S. There's not the internet at the time. So you can probably get away with marrying somebody and you're not fully divorced.
I'm surprised they caught him in Switzerland or
wherever. Exactly. So they marry a guy named Patrick. She marries a guy named Patrick Hull, who's a newspaperman. After a short amount of time, as divorce filings are in place. Some doctors is brought up in the divorce proceedings, but that guy gets murdered. I don't know if they don't have really the details of what happened in this divorce proceeding, but apparently his name might have been brought up. Like maybe she was cheating on him with this guy. That's my speculation. This guy ends up getting murdered.
Yeah.
So San Fran, she's trying to. She moves. She's like, all right, San Fran's not working. Dancing's not working here. 1855, she goes to Australia.
Okay.
She's like, oh, there's a gold rush going on there.
Yep.
I'm going to perform my dance for the gold diggers, right? These guys are actual gold diggers, not metaphorical gold diggers. And these guys are they need women, right? They're in a cave all day.
Yeah.
digging
So
gold,
they like
right?
it.
They like the women. So this is when it is actually officially stuff is in the newspaper about what her dance actually is. It's the spider dance.
Ooh.
And in the spider dances, that's her signature erotic dance. The big thing is that she actually it is not just top nudity, it's bottom nudity as well.
Oh.
And she lifts up her dress to show that she is not wearing underwear.
Wow. Scandal.
Now the men seem to enjoy this, but there must have been some sort of narc in the
mines?
in the audience. No, in the audience of this thing. She's doing it at a theater. So she at a local theater close to the mines. She's not doing this in the mines, dude. And eventually some newspaper comes out and says that this is don't go to here. This is a travesty. And
then everybody
anyway,
goes.
no, which you would think, right? But apparently, like all of a sudden, this thing happened, got bad press, and then her audience starts dwindling.
Oh, what's left? Japan?
Well, she actually goes back to San Francisco.
Okay.
Like a year or two later, and her manager dies on the boat ride back to San Francisco.
Yeah.
She moves to throughout the country trying to do like lecture. Now she tries to turn like, I'm assuming it's like this is kind of the born again phase of her life where she like starts doing more moral lectures and she tries dancing first and then that actually doesn't work out. People aren't booking her. But then she tries to do like, she's like, all right, that's not working out. I'm gonna teach people, about good morality and help women and things like that. She ends up getting all the way to like New York at this point. But she dies of syphilis.
Ooh. So that's how her manager died.
It said he died from being thrown overboard on the boat.
Okay, that's different.
But she dies of syphilis 1861, Steed, in New York, age of 39. This has all happened by the time she's 39.
Wow, that's impressive.
Crazy life.
You couldn't jump on a plane back in the day too. You would
that's the crazy thing. This is all boat travel.
Boat.
All over like Northern Europe, then to India, then back to Europe, all over Europe, US, Australia, US, all over the US, syphilis death. I mean, syphilis is a STD, right?
Yeah, but like she could have got it, I don't know, at a water fountain, maybe.
I would say based on the fact that she was a courtesan, it was probably sexually related. But could have been a water fountain. Could have been a water fountain.
Could have been in the air in Australia when she exposed her.
Yes.
Her flower.
God, I hate. I don't like that anymore. But anyway, Steve, a rare story of Lola Montez.
Good. I'm so glad that was for some reason people took that down in the history books.
Interesting to me. It's interesting. I was actually listening to
the king part is. I guess that's why they did it. If she wasn't involved with the king, yeah,
for sure. It's because it happened with the king, and actually she caused so much influence at the court, and then literally got him basically kicked out of being a king.
And then that guy did some bad stuff, and then World War I happened. So she might have started World War I.
That guy's son, I didn't do the full history of that guy. Like the long Ludwig of Bavaria. Then his successor is Maximilian II. Maximilian's successor is Ludwig II. Successor is Otto.
Mm-hmm.
After Otto,
Hitler.
His successor is Ludwig III. Ludwig III. He was the monarchy abolished. Oh. This is during This is during World War I.
I don't know
where allied with 1866 Bavaria allied with Austria Empire, Austria Hungary,
the bad team,
the bad guys, which led to them losing World War I, the loss of them in World War I, the way they were dealt with, and the way just the countries were after World War I led to the rise of fascism and the Nazi Party taking over. So therefore, she basically, she had a big thing to do with World War II and all the travesties that happened with World War II. Well, there you go. Lola Montez.
Cool. I guess just be careful out there, guys.
Yeah.
If someone's flashing boobs, that's fine. Someone flashes full spider, they do the full spider, you get out of there.
Exactly.
Something's up.
Exactly. We will wrap up the show there. New episodes every Thursday. Check us out on YouTube. We're getting caught up. Caught up on the YouTube. Almost
Blowing up. You want to be on the ground floor.
You want to be up on the ground floor. You get benefits like pyramid system.
Yeah, you get to charge.
Not a pyramid
other
scheme.
people.
It's a pyramid system.
Yeah, because we give you the power.
Yes, you get the power. The audience gets the power. So email the show, chubstep.podcast@gmail.com. Rate the show on Spotify. The show has ended. Be gone.
Now you know you got to go.
Peace. This is Yasin.